such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here. We got more questions here at assholeconsulting.com, where the lost millennial generation and others, because it's not like the fucking baby boomers knew what the fuck they were doing. Anyway, if you need some financial help, some educational help, some career help in the form of advice, which is dirt cheap, especially if it's true, go to assholeconsulting.com. The only company mining and disseminating truth, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Hi, Aaron. I'm a 36-year-old male living in Finland. I have no wife, no kids, and only a small loan, approximately $1,600. I graduated from university with a master's degree in chemistry back in 2007. After serving a year in the military, I found myself on and off unemployed for almost 9 years. Now I finally have a steady job as a journalist. That's not steady. Journalism is never steady. I hope it is for your sake, but just, don't bank on it. I make $2,800 a month. All right, that's more than enough to live, three? I know Finland's more expensive, but you guys don't pay for any. Everything's free. Finland's wonderful, I hear, because it's all free. 3 times 12, 36. Yeah, you got enough for one man, absolutely. After years of unemployment, I now need to start immediately saving and investing money and not fucking it up. During my years of on and off unemployment, I have learned to live my life as a minimalist. My plan is as follows. Get rid of my small loan, buy some precious metals for $535, have a small buffer of money in the bank account, $2,150 in case of emergencies like an illness, a car accident, or seeing a dentist. But what happens after that? Should I buy an apartment or travel? I want to see Hiroshima, Rome, New York, and Grand Canyon, of course. I want to have both, but in which order, or is there a way to achieve both in some wise manner? Cheers, Marcus. Well, thank you, Marcus. This is pretty simple, and it's a no-brainer for me anyway, and that is I would definitely travel first. And whereas getting an apartment, like if you had, I asked you if you wanted roommates or if you're okay with roommates. If you said yes, then it's possible you get the apartment and then, a condo, you buy it, not rent it, but you buy an apartment, and then you'd have an asset. You'd always have a place to call home. You'll never be homeless again. But then you could rent it out to a buddy of yours, and then that would cover your mortgage and allow you to go and travel. But if you don't want a roommate, well, then that kind of makes it very obvious you need to go and travel first, because otherwise you're going to have to pay rent twice. One, to keep your house back in Finland, and then all your traveling and lodging expenses when you go out and travel. So for me, especially the fact when I asked you, you said you could do your job from anywhere, you just need a laptop and internet connection. Fuck yes, dude. You're the perfect candidate with no wife, no kids, no debt pretty soon, cash, and a location-independent job. You get to do what I do. And that's drive all over the fucking place and do whatever the fuck you want. So I would absolutely do the traveling thing. I look into Airbnb. I start looking at couch surfing. There's ways you can do that. I strongly recommend, this is why I wrote the fucking book, even though everyone thinks it's for a 14-year-old, it's not. Get the book Reconnaissance Man and read through the logistics of doing reconnaissance, because basically you're doing reconnaissance all over the world, although the book is focused on the United States. But things like learning about couch surfing, Airbnb, you're not going to be able to afford hotels. But you should be able to go and travel all over the fucking world without setting a foot in Finland, unless you really wanted to. So to specifically address the areas you want to go. Now, I have never been to Hiroshima, Rome. I've been to New York and the Grand Canyon. What I would, in which order should you see them? What do I know? Well, I know nothing about Hiroshima. Rome, I know in Italy you do not want to drive. I was in Italy. We're going to go to Florence and Rome, but the traffic and all that is just a royal pain in the ass. So what I would do is get the bus or get the train, and I'd go there in the off season. No matter where you're going to go, you're going to want to go in the off season. All right. So in the United States, you don't want to go during summer because everyone and their kids are out fucking up the roads, making lines at national parks. You want to go like May, maybe even April. Especially if you're going in the Grand Canyon, which is in Arizona, which is warmer. So May and April are going to be your time to go. Or September, when the kids are all back in school. You want to avoid the kids because of traffic, and hotel rates just go through the fucking roof. And Airbnb and all that. And car rentals as well. But I do know in Rome, just go there. Hit Venice on the way. Go to Venice and then do Rome. take the train, take a bus. Do not fucking drive yourself. It is a royal pain in the ass to drive through that country. So that's what I would do. Hiroshima, you're going to have to look that one up yourself. I know nothing about Japan. Maybe somebody in the Cappy Sphere can comment down below, give you some advice about when to visit Hiroshima. New York, I don't know why you want to go there, dude. If you like big cities and assholes who are all full of themselves, and I don't say that as like a Midwesterner. I've been to New York, and I've been to Chicago, and I've been to all the major cities in the United States. And New Yorkers, they got this kind of thing, oh, hey man, we're from New York, oh, we're better. It's like, no, you've never left that fucking peninsula. You've never left the fucking island. You think that the whole world ends at the fucking Hudson, and then they've never, and Chicago is a way better town. If you want to see a big town with a lot of class and nicer people, I go to Chicago. But if you want to go to New York, scratch that itch, go to New York. And then the Grand Canyon. Here's the problem with the Grand Canyon. You are definitely going to want to read Reconnaissance Man and the last chapter, which I believe is chapter 6. Because if you go all the way to Arizona and you don't see Canyonlands National Park, Arches, Zion, there's a shit ton of other stuff to do in the American West, and the Grand Canyon is merely one thing. And unless you're a great hiker, all you're going to do is sit there and look at it for about 2 minutes and say, okay, it's a big hole. Then you're going to feel compelled because it takes a while to get there. You say, well, shouldn't I honor this canyon a little bit more by looking at it for at least an hour? And then about 10 minutes into you're reconciling with yourself, yeah, it's just a big fucking hole. And unless I'm going to go hike in it, and maybe you are a hiker, then you'll enjoy it. You'll be like, huh, what the fuck else do I do now with the remaining 2 weeks I have in the western United States? So I would definitely get Reconnaissance Man, if for any other reason, what is essentially a travel guide on the last chapter of the American West. So that's what I would recommend. But here's the thing, I don't think you're thinking big enough. If you can keep your expenses minimal, you should be able to perpetually travel around the world because you're location independent. Now, you're not going to be staying at high-end hotels in Singapore or Hong Kong. You're not going to be staying at high-end hotels in New York. But if you do it right, you should be able to be out in the field for a long-ass time and just living town to town to town and be a true traveling world traveler vagabond. So I would start doing some number crunching. I would start get Couchsurfing.com, and getting involved in that community is really going to help lower your expenses. So that's almost the first thing I would do. But I would start expanding your horizons. Say, okay, I'm here for a month. Like you do a month in Italy, so you really get a feel for Italy. And then I'm going to go to Spain, and you do a month in Spain. And then I'm going to go to Britain. It doesn't matter because, well, I'd like to pick up the laptop and show you, but I'm recording it with the laptop. That's your office. This thing right here that I'm talking to you, this is my office. It fits into my backpack, and I could go motorcycling around wherever I want. So that is the true benefit that you have. And I would just keep on doing that. And while you're doing it, put a blog on the side charting your adventures. Because that'll make you a little bit of scratch on the side too, I'd imagine. And if you start making decent money, you could probably make it a viable business and write it off as well. Anyway, that's what I'd recommend. Avoid summertime in the United States. Get as close to summer, but do not go into June. And do not stick until August. You want to come here in September or spring. Temperature is fine down in the Southwest America. New York, once you're sick and tired of it, hey, look, I'm from New York. I'm sucking my own dick. When you're sick of that shit, hey, we got the Statue of Liberty. Bada boom, bada bing. Hey, I'm Mike Norman. Say hi to Mike Norman for me. That schmutz. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. I think, maybe do a trial run on mainland Europe, see if you can last there for a little bit, and then hey, if you can make it in mainland Europe, you can make it anywhere. So, anyway, best of luck to you. Toodles.